A few hours ago, I recorded the last episode of 2027 of a REMBE Pro Cycling career mode on PCM 2024. Now, long story short, the recording has corrupted. So yeah, it's gone. But I gotta be honest, you didn't actually miss too much. Literally, our only proper result was a podium at the Bemerside Classics, the race we won last year. The European Championships crashed on me, the World Championships didn't go very well, and Lombardia, that was a disaster. So yeah, I'm not lying when I say you did not miss much there. Anyway, that brings us to October 14th, 2027, basically the last couple of days of the season, and I kinda want to discover what the other teams did in this season. What happened outside of REMBE Pro Cycling? Our first stop is the UCI World Tour ranking. Not exactly a surprise, but Tadej Pogačar is the best cyclist in the world, and obviously UAE Team Emirates is the best team in the world with 32,100 points, but we're actually not too, well, I was gonna say we're not too far behind, but we're like a solid 8,000 points behind in second place. So yeah, REMBE Pro Cycling, not even a World Tour team at this very moment, is the second best team in the world, and that's better than Visma, Ineos, and so forth. But on the left side in the individual ranking, we can see that we don't have that superstar quality rider. Yeah, Marco Brenner in 10th is a fantastic result for the man, but he's no Pogačar, he's no Vingegaard, he's no Evenepoel. But actually taking a closer look, Wout van Aert 5th with 5,098 points, that's only 1,100 more than Marco Brenner in 10th place. So in 2028, I think it's quite realistic to try and aim to have one rider in the top 5 of that ranking. And next to that, in 2028, I also want to win the World Tour ranking in general as a team. So UAE Team Emirates, I'm coming for you. Once again, not a surprise, Tadej Pogačar, the most winning rider of the year with 25 victories, but only one victory more than Jensen Plowright and Reindering in third. The reason for that is these guys are on Conti teams and ride all these Mickey Mouse races, so they get loads of victories like that. Now, UAE Team Emirates with 68 victories, pretty obvious that they're the most winning team, very wide as a block because they've got so many riders that can win races left and right. We've got 49 victories, so 19 less. I would like to beat 65 next year, but I must add the amount of victories is far less important than the quality of the victories because, well, I don't want to be stat padding the Tour of KICKR Lake in China, for example. Anyway, time for a pretty major announcement for the team, for REMBE Pro Cycling, a milestone in this series. We are 13th in the team index ranking, which means we are promoting to World Tour. And like the fact that we had a pretty great season in 2027 combined with the amazing team we've amassed for 2028, I'm expecting to make waves. Florian Lipovic, our first signing, 80 mountain, 77 medium mountain, so I think he grew a little bit. Lawrence Piffy is our new captain for the cobble, 78 cobble, 75 sprint stats, so kind of the exact opposite as Teutenberg. But yeah, with 75 hill stat, a lot more versatile. Matthias Wacek is also a massive signing for the team. His stats are quite odd though. He's like good at everything, 70 plus in every single stat and amazing at prologue. He can win races, but more importantly, a super versatile domestique. Now let's talk about the youngsters. 21 years old, Paul Seychelles, 75 mountain, 76 medium mountain, a superstar in the making for France, so this man will be good in the future. Tibor Del Grosso, probably more talented in real life than in the game to be honest, but basically a mini Van der Poel. Leon Kolar, a future replacement for Lewis Bauer, I think, 20 years old, 74 sprint stat. Kieran Thompson, 75 medium mountain, but oddly 67 mountain, so just a mountainous domestique, as long as the mountain is not too long. And then our meme rider, Marcos Landa, basically a Northern Classics talent, but somehow better at time trial at the moment. And lastly, Ashlyn Barry, 75 flat stat, 71 sprint stat. I see him as some kind of lead out for the future. But also 7 riders exiting the team and they all found the team, so that's nice. Rotman is going to Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, and I think he grew when it comes to his sprint stat to 75, so looks like he's getting better still. Hannes Wilch is leaving to AVC Aix-en-Provence, which I think is a French Conti team? Yes. A French Conti team with 30 riders. OG member of the team, Iago Aguirre, leaving to Euskaltel Euskadi, and I think that's a team he's actually signed for in 2025 in real life, so that's realistic. Meanwhile, Noah Isidoro, our French talent that never came to be, is going to Obidos, a Portuguese Conti team. Meanwhile, Josh Burnett going to Terengganu, a continental team from Malaysia, I think? Yes, that is the Malaysian flag. Silas Keurg to Veldt-Felbermeyer, and Jacob Scott to Saint-Piran. Anyway, that's our team for 2028, and I am super bullish. I want to win a Grand Tour in 2028. But before I take a look at the other teams and their transfers, I want to take a look at what those teams achieved in 2027. So, the results. I gotta say, this will always hurt. Seeing Stone Unlimited having won that Giro because we bottled it in that last week, but Del Toro and UAE also bottled it there, so it's not just my fault that Stone Unlimited won. I want to get that out of the way. We're not on the podium, very sad to see, but the Tour de France, that's one we did not ride. So Jonas Vingegaard strikes back, ahead of Pogacar and Roglic. Jonathan Milan taking the green jersey and Max Poole taking the white jersey. Actually a good rider now, 78 mountain, 81 medium mountain, so that's nice to see. But I gotta say, I need Max Poole to finally win that Grand Tour stage in 2025 in real life. When it comes to La Vuelta, we had a very dominant race, but we finished second in GC with Pablo Torres and took the green jersey with Teutenberg, so still a successful race. Oh, the memories. I forgot all about Paul Fitzke and how he won the Tour Down Under. Enric Mas won Paris-Nice, Tadej Pogacar won Tirreno, Vingegaard Catalunya. No real surprises here. By the way, the world champion is Jasper Philipsen. Jonas Vingegaard won the time trial in Bergen, so it had a bit of a hill at the end, so that's why he won. And surprisingly, Filippo Ganna took both the road race and the time trial on the European Championships. Noah Lindholm Müller is the Danish national champion. I think he's a sprinter, yes. 78 sprint, actually pretty solid, and he's only 20 with 6-star potential in sprinting, so a proper talent. I'm scrolling down his first cycling page as we speak, and he's actually quite a talented rider in real life as well, so write him down. Henry Ulig, man, I'll never get over this. Henry Ulig winning Milano Sanremo. I want to win MSR in 2028. I think it's possible, come on. I came so close last year already, and my riders have gotten better. I've got Piffy now, so we can't lose that race. Oh my god, Fred Wright winning RVV, completely forgot about that. That's a crazy result. Wout van Aert winning Roubaix, meh. Pidcock LBL, also pretty okay. Remco Evenepoel Lombardia. The first two are pretty crazy, but the last three, pretty damn realistic. Gotta say, it is quite nice to see Marco Brenner on the page of the other classics, having won that San Sebastian against the big guns. That was a major win. Anyway, we've seen the results. Let's take a look at the transfers of all these other teams. Most of you know this, but I fell in love with pro cycling through Pro Cycling Manager in 2005. But actual cycling, myself, that started with Zwift. Zwift is the go-to training app to make indoor cycling so much more enjoyable. If you want to try Zwift but you don't have an indoor smart trainer yet, you're lucky because right now you can get 10% off on the following products. The Wahoo KICKR Core Zwift 1, the Wahoo KICKR Core with cassette, the Zwift Ride with KICKR Core, or if you already have a compatible smart trainer, the Zwift Ride frame itself. To receive the 10% discount, go to the link in the description and use code BenjiWinter10. Both are important, link and code. Oh my god, Jarno Widar is leaving Alpecin de Koning with 81 mountain, 78 medium mountain to join China Glory. That's a crazy transfer, and they've already got two pretty damn solid climbers from the Netherlands. Oscar Only is joining Astana, fair. Looks like Tijmen Arensman is joining Bahrain Victorious, who already have Matthias Skjelmose as their GC rider, but Mate Mohoric is leaving towards Movistar and Cat Killer towards Jayco Alula. And also Pavel Sivakov, who I forgot that was in this team, is going to EF Education Easy Post. We've seen so many transfers left and right in the last couple of seasons in this playthrough that I just forget where everybody is, to be honest. Oh, the Lindholm Müller guy is actually joining EF Education Easy Post this season. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Isaac Del Toro, the Mexican, 82 in mountain and medium mountain, massive talent, just 23, leaving UAE Team Emirates, joining the Ineos Grenadiers. And all of a sudden, this team has a potential Grand Tour winner in the team. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. Kian Uitenbroek's joining Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe again. Meanwhile, Vlasov is leaving towards DSM Firmenich, basically Picnic PostNL. So, what you're telling me is that in real life, Van Wilder went from Sunweb to Quickstep, then from Quickstep to DSM Firmenich, and now back to Soudal Quickstep? What a ride. And they also bringing Matteo Jorgensen, so that's a massive signing. Carapaz leaving, so that's a great replacement. We've had some crazy transfers already, but this is where it kicks into a higher gear because Juan Ayuso is leaving UAE Team Emirates and joining Visma Leasebike. And plot twist, as their sole GC rider, because the Danish fishmonger Jonas Vingegaard is leaving towards Cofidis of all teams. Meanwhile, Sepp Kuss is going to Polti Cometa of all teams. And Kian Uitenbroeks, as we already said, going to Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. And next to that, Olaf Kooi, who left them to go to Groupama FDG, is now returning to the team. I swear all these teams are playing a game of musical chairs at this point. Wait a second, Max Poole won the white jersey at the Tour de France and decided to join CIC Nantes Atlantique, a Conti Pro team. Actually, these guys are pretty good. Haimar Echebarria, 79 Hillstad, 75 sprint, 81 acceleration. That's a really good rider. That's who Alex Aramburu thinks he is. Oh my god, what a massive drop-off for UAE Team Emirates, losing Del Toro, Ayuso, McNulty and Sofov and replacing it with Bevoort, 78 time trial, 77 prologue. I'm sorry, but if that's your best signing, you're doomed. Jakob Söderqvist, actually a solid talent, but also in-game a pretty similar rider. It's like an AliExpress Matthias Watzek. This team is still super strong, but they're so much weaker than 2027, which that opens the door for me to take the first spot in the World Tour ranking, so I'm not complaining. Oh my god, Johannes Tonemitted, who won the Giro, is going to Team Hopla. That is an Italian team, a Conti team, that has no other good riders in the team, so what a transfer. Well, I guess he won't be winning the Giro next year, that's for sure. He won't be riding it. Still can't believe the fact that Jonas Vingegaard is at Cofidis next season. Look at this team. How will they support him? I have no clue. Anyway, going through those results, and especially the transfers, was a massive roller coaster, ups and downs and crazy transfers left and right, but now we're gonna try and move a few days forward in the career mode and gradually move towards 2028. So, entering December, a few important emails. First of all, Polride is going to Novapor Speedbike next season, and that is a Macedonian team? Yes, I got the flag right. Anyway, let's keep swimming towards that next season. And there we go, January 1st, 2028, the new season is here. Which unfortunately also means that I'll be spending the next 5 hours most likely setting up the calendar, the objectives, and so forth. So yeah, let's begin. First of all, I'm taking a look at my team because it looks like a couple of riders have gotten better over the off-season. For example, Pablo Torres is now 80 mount instead. I think he was 79. Luis Joe Lurs went from 77, I think, to 78 in mountain stat, and I think his medium mountain went up as well. Ola, 78 sprint stat on Teutenberg now, so I was waiting for that one. But I don't see too many other changes on the list at the moment, but hey, that's great improvement. Anyway, when it comes to my season preparation, the first thing on the menu is the calendar, so I'll be going over every single race and choosing whether I want to go to the race or not. Our first race is going to be the Santos Down Under. We've got no choice in that. It's an obligatory race, but after that, the Mallorca challenges are on the menu. I'm okay with riding those. I am considering adding both the Surf Coast Classic and the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road race though, because Lawrence Piffy kind of fits for those races, to be honest. My goodness, riding the Tour of Antalya as a World Tour race? I don't think so, but I do think I want to add another race instead. Valenciana starts with a 16-kilometer time trial, 2 mountain stages, one of which has a descent finish, so not good for the safety of my riders. Etoile de Bessèges starting with the Bellegarde finish, basically a 1-kilometer uphill sprint. Love that finish in real life. We've got Montbouquet, medium mountain finish on day 4, followed by the Alès time trial, which is kind of a hilly time trial. Yeah, I think I want to do the Mickey Mouse races in France in February, so we'll start off with Etoile de Bessèges and let's take a look at Provence for a second. Starting off with a 10-kilometer time trial, then 2 hill stages, and finally we've got a bit of a versatile sprint stage. I'm actually leaning towards going with this race. I'm usually not a fan of time trials in this game, but Matthias Watzek, 83 prologue, could win GC at this race. So yeah, after Bessèges, during the New Zealand ITT and road race, we're going towards Tour de la Provence. Next to that, UAE Tour is a race we have to ride, but seeing Omloop and Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne on a Thursday and a Friday, that hurts my soul. By the way, a bit of a behind the scenes thing, when I'm planning my calendar, I also have to think how many races can I fit in a single episode on YouTube. So Tour Down Under, for example, is gonna be my only race in this video. Meanwhile, the next episode would be Mallorca Challenges together with Surf Coast Classic, Cadels and Bessèges, which means my third episode of the season will be Provence plus the National Championships of New Zealand, but I need something more there. So I think I want to add Algarve before the UAE Tour, basically 5 days, including Alto de Foya, a 22-kilometer time trial, and Alto de Maiau. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. There we go, add it to the calendar. After that follows UAE Tour together with the Cobble Classics, Omloop, Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne, maybe even Strade Bianche as well, but I think I'm going to kill both Montserrat and Le Samin. There we go, remove that one and remove that one. Perfect. Then follows the start of March, which is Paris-Nice and Tirreno Adriatico. After that, Sanremo, Catalunya, and all the Cobble Classics, Brugge de Panne, E3, Gent-Wevelgem, Dwars door Vlaanderen, RVV, and for some reason the fucking Volta Limburg Classic. That one is not happening, I can assure you that. Anyway, that's what I'd like my first 3 months of this 2028 season to look like. Obviously, some races I have not been accepted yet, so fingers crossed that I get into every single one of them. At the same time as making the calendar, I'm also working on the planning for each individual rider, selecting which races they're gonna go to, and I gotta say, there's some interesting decisions here. For example, Matthias Watzek, basically one of my better cobble riders, 75 cobble stat, but also 83 prologue stat. Do I send Watzek to Omloop Nieuwsblad and Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne, 2 races where his cobble stat will be important for the team, or do I send him to UAE Tour where there's a 9-kilometer flat time trial, so his his prologue stat is golden for that. In the end, I decided to go at UAE Tour because I believe I can win that time trial with Wozzeck, while I don't think his influence in Omloop and Kuurne will be detrimental to our cause. Meanwhile, Laurens Piffy, 75 hill stat, can compete for the victory in Tour Down Under, I think, for GC. But the 75 sprint stat, I don't think that's gonna be enough to win the flat sprints in that race. So I'm actively considering also sending Lewis Bauer to the same race as our sprinter. And last year, he proved that he can be successful in winning a flat sprint. In hindsight, losing both Paul Wright and Josh Burnett in a single season also means we only have 2 riders at the New Zealand National Road Race Championship, so I think it's actually going to be harder to win that race this time around, despite literally having the best New Zealand rider, Laurens Piffy. Also, choosing the planning between Paris-Nice and Tirreno Adriatico. The Queen stage of Paris-Nice has a 15-kilometer climb at the end, Col du Turini 7.5%, and an 11-kilometer hilly time trial. Meanwhile, at Tirreno, the mountain stage has Prati di Tivo, 12k at 8.2%, a bit shorter, but a bit steeper, and flattens out a little bit towards the top. And the final time trial, as usual, 11k completely flat. Lipovic is my best climber and my better time trial list of the GC rider, so I'm actually going to send him towards Tirreno Adriatico, and my logic is fairly simple. He's got the mountain stat and the medium mountain stat for Prati di Tivo, and the time trial stat 75 is good enough to perform on a flat time trial. To be honest, Louis Joe Lures is not too much worse. 78 mountain, so his mountain stat is worse. But when it comes to the time trial stat, 74 as well, with 77 prologue on an 11k time trial, that matters. So I'll put Paris-Nice on Louis Joe Lures for now. But I am struggling with the calendar of Pablo Torres because that man cannot time trial, and even Catalunya has a proper time trial. 21 kilometers and completely flat, that's a lot for Torres. And yes, there's 2 mountain stages, but is that enough to take back the 3+ minutes I'll lose on that time trial with Torres? Probably not. Meanwhile, Itzuya, 10-kilometer time trial, okay, it's not too long, but in the rest of the stages, there's not a single big mountain, so my man Torres won't do well here either. The UAE Tour does have a short time trial, but then again, the mountain stages, are there gonna be notable gaps where I can take that time back? I think it's our best bet. So Pablo Torres can join Wozzeck in the UAE Tour. Next to that, Adria Pericas as support as well. Meanwhile, Hector Alvarez can ride Omloop and Kuurne. Slowly but surely, it's all coming along. Ooh, Tirreno Adriatico also has quite interesting hilly stages. For example, this one, 7k at 3.8%, followed by the Castel Fidardo stage that... This is the one where Mathieu van der Poel went on his crazy raid because he was feeling a bit cold. Anyway, both those stages are shouting Hector Alvarez to me. Actually, or Laurens Piffy, because that man has 75 hill and 75 sprint. I think I'll go for Piffy on that one. There we go. Meanwhile, stage 6 of Paris-Nice could be a Hector Alvarez stage. Also a versatile sprint stage. So Paris-Nice, Hector can ride that. Teutenberg can also go to Paris-Nice for the sprints. And when it comes to Tirreno, we have Lewis Bauer. I feel like Nicolas Berens is feeling a bit left behind, but reality is he's got 73 acceleration, so that's not much. Actually, signing Piffy is not just good for our Cobble Classics, also Sanremo, the perfect rider for a race like that. So, it took quite a bit of work, 3-4 hours in real life, but finally our season preparation is basically done for. I finished off going through every single race on the calendar, selecting which ones we want to ride. Next to that, I went through the rider planning of the entire season, selecting which riders are going to ride every single race of the season. And on top of that, I also went over the rider objectives, so selecting for every single rider which races they need to peak for throughout the season. For example, Florian Lipovic is starting the season in Algarve, but then focuses on Tirreno and Catalunya, and later obviously 2 Grand Tours, the Tour de France and La Vuelta. Lastly, finishing off the season with Lombardia. Our main sprinter, Teutenberg, also Tour Vuelta double, but also the classics. With Laurens Piffy, I want to start the season off with a bang. Santos Down Under is one of his main focuses. Also the classics and the Tour Vuelta double once again. But if all these riders are doing the Tour or the Vuelta, who's doing the Giro? First one, Steinhauser, Giro Vuelta double. Marco Brenner, also Giro Vuelta double. And perhaps our most important GC rider for that Giro, Louis Joe Lures, also doing the Tour de France after. So honestly, looking at this rider schedule, I think we can fight for at least the podium at every single Grand Tour. So that's exactly what I made my race objectives. Giro top 3, Vuelta top 3, and Tour de France top 3. But obviously, personally, I'm aiming a little bit higher. I want to win a Grand Tour this season. But not just a Grand Tour, also a monument. So Milano-Sanremo, also a race objective. Now, if I want to win, why is this on top 3 and not first? Well, because there's actually 0 difference in the average difficulty, whether we select top 3 or first, so I might as well play it safe. Anyway, for massive goals this season, but we have the team to do it, so I truly believe we can bring it home. But hey, before we start our races, we actually have quite a bit of stuff left to do. First of all, facilities. I've got plenty of money, so let's try and spend it on our team. High performance tires, every single rider, that's quite cheap, so I'll do it. There we go. Couple classic materials. Next to that, optimization of chain processing, optimization of ceramic bearings, also spent. I'm also going to apply all these time trial bonuses on the riders that actually can time trial. To be honest, we have the money, so I'm actually going to do it for every single rider. No, it won't be useful for every single rider, but who cares? Let's just spend it. There we go, 530k, we can afford it. And that is quite literally all the upgrades we can put on our team in the facilities tab, so we are fully locked in. When it comes to training camp, I usually send my riders to Rosé, Spain, because it's 2-star and pretty cheap, but let's spend a bit more money on them. We're going all the way to the world map because I want to go to Tenerife, Teide. 4-star, 200 per participant, so not exactly cheap, but we can definitely afford it. So our entire team, 10 days in Tenerife. Yes, some riders will have to go to the Tour Down Under 2 days later, but the game doesn't exactly account for jet lag, so there we go, we've done it. Next up, scouting. I gotta be honest, throughout this entire playthrough, it has not been useful for us. We had Andre Greipel as scout for most of our years, but also in 1 year we literally couldn't afford a scout, so that was a bit of a dark year in the history of REMBE. But outside of that, also no talent came out of it. I'll keep Andre Greipel and let him work a little bit when it comes to scouting, but I want to do something else. Since we are a World Tour team, I think it's finally time to build out our youth pipeline, so that starts with a U23 development team. There we go, team management, let's call it REMBE Dev Team or something like that. I think that's a fair name. Country, Germany, what can we afford? 30k per month, can we afford that? I'm not gonna do that. Let's do 15 riders for now. I think that's fine, let's confirm that. This is taking quite a long time. Please tell me my game hasn't crashed. Okay, it hasn't. Otherwise, I would have lost all my progress when it comes to the season planning. That would have been a disaster. Anyway, we have our REMBE dev team, but I gotta say, it doesn't look like talent is brewing here. 3-star potential everywhere, 3.5-star on Mirko Messina. I'm sorry, but that's just not good enough. Well then, that looks like a waste of money. Oh no, I just saw an email. Evolution of potentials. I am terrified to click on it. Come on, I swear this happens every single time. Ashlyn Barry down from 5 potential to 4.5 potential. Not a single time in the history of this entire career mode has a rider gotten better when I got this email. Always my riders get worse. Anyway, at least it's Ashlyn Barry, it could have been worse. Admin aside, our first race has arrived, the Tour Down Under 6-day stage race in Australia, starting off with 1 sprint stage, 2 sprint stages, then a punch-sure finish on day 3, another 2 sprint stages, and finally, the mythical Willunga Hill finish. And as you can see at the top here, it was Orpol Fritzke that won this race last year. He's once again present for the 2028 edition, but he won't be our leader because our man is Lawrence Spiffy. Fitness peak Lawrence Spiffy as well. 75 hill stat, 75 sprint stat. I think I can win GC with him. But 75 sprint might not be good enough for the flat sprint, so I also brought Lewis Bauer. He won a stage here last season, so I hope he can do it again. It's also the debut of our new signing Tibor Del Grosso, basically Tiny Van Der Poel. But there's something I haven't told you. 2028 REMBE Pro Cycling is gonna be riding with a brand new jersey. Because, well, in real life, REMBE Pro Cycling has become REMBE Radnet Pro Cycling. So we'll be racing in their brand new 2025 jersey in the game. But turns out Jasper Philipsen is at this race, so the competition is big. I'm not too confident that our jersey will cross the line first. And so the 2028 cycling season has officially begun with our brand new kit, and I gotta say, it looks absolutely lovely. Lawrence Spiffy in that jersey, beautiful. When it comes to form, +1 on Piffy, so 76 sprint. Meanwhile, Lewis Bauer, 77 sprint. Worse secondaries though, but I still think I'm going for Lewis here. Like, technically we can take bonus seconds with Piffy here, but reality is we brought Bauer here for a reason, and that reason is flat stages, so we should use him here. Roughly 14 kilometers to go, and I gotta say, our lead out here is absolutely clinical. Lewis Bauer obviously as our sprinter, but Piffy as a lead out, Ashlyn Barry 73 sprint with 77 flat stat as our third man, Tibor Del Grosso with a fantastic +3 RDC, that is 75 sprint, which won't matter, but also 75 flat stat, led by Maurice Ballerschred, so I feel good about this train, I really do. Last 3 kilometers, Ashlyn Barry with Piffy in the wheel, come on, we've got a perfect lead out at the moment, last 2 kilometers incoming. Don't launch yet, don't launch yet. Right now, Piffy goes before the corner. Bauer perfectly in the wheel. Barry out of the way. Come on, Bauer. Launch right now from the wheel. Last kilometer incoming. Huizing on the right. Eekhoff on the left. We can do this. We can do this. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. First race of the season. Fast victory. Lewis Bauer. We deliver. Gotta say, seeing that new jersey on the podium from the get-go, that is absolutely beautiful. But where was Philipsen? nowhere in that top 10. And of course, this means we take the ochre jersey with Bauer, so let's try and keep that for a couple of days. Next to Bauer, Lawrence Piffy also in 4th, but I wish he was third to get those full bonus seconds, but hey, we can't have everything. But so far, a pretty great start to our first race. Stage 2, basically another sprint stage, so let's try and do that again. With roughly 9 kilometers to go, our position is quite perfect, to be honest. Bauer in the ochre jersey and last wheel as our sprinter, but the rest of the lead out looking pretty good. Last 3 kilometers incoming, Barry can take over from Del Grosso. Del Grosso out of the way. We might have a bit too many riders here. Piffy can almost go himself right now. Bauer in the wheel, come on. We're looking good, we're looking good. Let's launch right now with Bauer from the wheel of Piffy. Once again looking amazing. Philipsen nowhere to be seen. Once again gonna happen for us. Can Piffy take bonus seconds though? I think he can. 4 seconds for Piffy next to a victory of Lewis Bauer. 2 out of 2 for REMBE, Radnet Pro Cycling so far. Gotta say, I'm still getting used to that name change. So, now 12 seconds on Milano with Bauer, Piffy on 7th with 16 seconds deficit to Bauer. But more importantly, an advantage on the other GC riders. Like, when we signed Lewis Bauer, I was not expecting him to become a top sprinter. He has not become that top sprinter, but he is so consistent for us. Always winning a World Tour stage victory at any World Tour race we send him to, so that's exactly why we signed him. But with 2 chances for Bauer behind us, it's now time for Lawrence Piffy to try to win. Stage 3 is a puncher stage, but I gotta say, Corkscrew Road in real life looks a lot steeper than on this profile, but we're only 9 favorites, so we're not even close to being the favorite. And somehow, despite failing in the actual sprint stages, Jasper Philipsen is the 3rd favorite on this stage. Ooh, crash in the peloton, Johnny Narvaez on the floor. So that's the rider that won this race in real life, but he ain't gonna win in game because Lawrence Piffy's ready. And also cause, well, he crashed. With just over 15 kilometers to go, the descent towards the final climb is starting and my train is at the front of the peloton. So breakaway caught, everything under control. Bauer in last wheel, I'm not exactly going for him, he's kind of the sweeper in the wheel of Piffy, but if he can win the sprint, I'm okay with it. And we are climbing, entering the steep sections of the climb already, Bodej going a little bit too fast to my liking, still 1.3k towards the top is actually not that far, so I can go this hard. I'll go 93 for now. Come on, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'll try and make a move with Fitzke. Bodej is done for. Bauer can try and follow a little bit and now stop pacing. There we go. Actually could have followed there. Bart Lemon, is he on Alpecin now? That's a transfer I didn't expect. Bauer can try and hold on with whatever's happening here. We've got a gap though. We've got a gap, but I gotta keep going over the top with Del Grosso right now because the other guys can't actually do it. And I'll try to attack with Piffy right now, I reckon, over the top. That's my plan. So there goes Piffy. Solo attack. Go 99 all out in the descent. And the rest of the team can settle themselves. So let's go. Into the descent. Come on, Lawrence. Bring this home. 11 seconds is the gap. And Bart Lemon is trying to close that. Bauer, how are you so far back? Come on, move up. Just in case. Come on, Piffy. You can do this. Last 6.5 kilometers. All out attack in the descent. Looks like we might actually get caught by Lemon there, but can I set up a sprint with Bauer? No, I can't. With Del Grosso, maybe. Worst case scenario in the wheel of Ballerstedt. And actually, Ballerstedt's the better option, I reckon. There we go. And then Del Grosso in the wheel of Fitzke. That case, we have a bit of a backup sprint train. Come on, Piffy. You still got a gap. 8 seconds. You can still bring this home. It is descending until the finish line. So just keep going, buddy. Just keep going, buddy. Last 2.5 kilometers. The gap is there. It's 13 seconds. I'm gonna sprint with everybody as we speak. Why not? There we go. But I reckon Piffy has it. I reckon Piffy has it. Last 1.5 kilometers. Piffy still has the gap. There goes Narvaez. Fitzke Del Grosso on the right side of the road. Oh, come on, Piffy, come on, Piffy. Yes, he takes it. Ahead of Ulich. Jasper Philipsen in third, but that sweet revenge on Henry Ulich after that Sanremo of last year. I love that. Not 1, not 2, 3 victories for REMBE Radnet. First 2 by Bauer and now Lawrence Piffy. Amazing. And actually, Lewis Bauer is still the leader by 6 seconds over Piffy. So this race isn't over yet, but technically, on Willinge Hill, that should be for Piffy normally. Honestly, when the gap was down to 8 seconds at the top of Corkscrew, I thought he wouldn't make it, but he did make it in the end. They closed the gap to Piffy, but he still took the victory. Anyway, once again, sprint stage, Jasper Philipsen the favorite, but we've seen that before, and that didn't work out for him, so let's try and beat him again. With about 7.5 kilometers to go, our train is looking absolutely perfect. Now up to 99 with Ballerstedt, Del Grosso in the wheel. Once again, the exact lead out we need, so let's try and bring this home. Last 3.4 kilometers, it's time for Barry to take over from Del Grosso. There we go. Eddie on Bauer a bit too late. That's not likable. Piffy can go pretty soon. Slightly uphill. Yes, that's slightly uphill. Let's take a look. Slightly uphill, then a bit downhill towards the finish line. So Lawrence Piffy, get ready to launch, but not yet. Let's wait. Let's go. There goes Piffy, kind of in the wheel of the others. Bauer can try and wait. Bauer try and wait. Now go, Bauer. Come on. We've got Ulich in the wheel. Come on, Bauer. Come on, Bauer. Come on, Bauer. Ulich tries to come out. No. Yes. We take the victory once again. And third with Piffy, so some more bonus seconds with him too. Whew, when Ulich was in the wheel, I was starting to get terrified, I gotta say. 3 victories, those are rookie numbers. 4 victories for our team now. That's splendid. And thanks to his hat-trick, Lewis Bauer still in the lead of GC by 12 seconds on Piffy, 18 on Henry Ulich. Like, I was expecting to do well in this race, but I wasn't expecting it to go this well. 4 out of 4. With so far a pretty comfortable 1-2 in GC, so I reckon we could potentially keep that. But it's not time for Willinga Hill yet. First of all, another sprint stage, the last one of the lot. By the way, what a disastrous race for Jasper Philipsen so far. Being one of the best sprinters in the world and getting slapped by Lewis Bauer, left and right. And worst of all, we're gonna do it again in this stage. And actually, I know why Philipsen isn't winning races. It's the good old-fashioned World Championship curse. Ever since he won that race, he ain't winning anything. So yeah, Lewis Bauer, please don't become world champion. Hola, the break has 10 minutes at the moment with 100 kilometers to go, so I think I'm gonna put someone at the front of the peloton. Maurice Bauderstedt, get to the front and start to gradually pace them back. Just under 70 kilometers to go now, the gap is now 6 minutes 40, so I'm trying to bring it down, but it's costing me rider by rider and nobody else is really helping me. To be honest, if I was the other teams, I also wouldn't help me, but I'm still complaining. Hola, we got help. Jenno Bergmoes from Alpecin is starting to help for Philipsen, so at least we're not doing it alone now. And Fitzke has officially caught the breakaway with about 13 kilometers to go. We did most of the work in the chasing, but still 5 riders left for our lead out, so it didn't actually impact us. Slight uphill with 6.5k to go. Scaroni doing something weird on the right side of the road. No clue what that was, but I'll take it. Up to 95 with Del Grosso. Not 99 yet. 31 people in the front group, so there is a split, but we're at the front, so no problemo. We've got energy shells on both Piffy and Bauer done for. Barry, come on, man. You're next. You can almost take over before this corner. There we go. Del Grosso out of the way on the left side of the road. Don't block anyone. Bauer in the perfect wheel at the moment. Piffy about to launch. Not yet. Right now in the corner. Bauer in the wheel. We've got Van Poppel in our wheel. Groves in that wheel. We're spending lots of energy. Let's launch right now. I don't feel good about this. I think this is a loss. Caden Groves comes around and wins a stage. So no 5th victory, but still a nice 2nd place. 18 seconds on Piffy with Bauer, and next to that, another 6 seconds on Ulich. And there's only one stage left, Willinga Hill, the mythical queen stage of the Tour Down Under, but I gotta say, usually that final climb on PCM is not exactly too selective, so I think we can even win with Bauer. But I reckon I'll go for Piffy with Bauer in the wheel, and if Bauer can survive, then he can win GC. Otherwise, it's gonna have to be for Piffy. Okay, well then, the break has 16 minutes, so I think I should start chasing right now, as soon as possible. I don't actually understand why, but it looks like the other teams are taking care of the breakaway for me. 3 minutes 45, 40k to go, so it's all under control again. Anyway, 25 kilometers to go. The gap is now 2 minutes 50, so this break is getting caught. CIC Nantes is the team that's pacing. That's kind of unexpected in the Tour Down Under, but we are looking pretty good. Bores trying to get some last minute water to the front. Our position is alright, but we are losing position, so it might not be alright for long if we don't speed up. Piffy over the top in nearly the front position. Bauer a bit further behind, but he's still looking alright, so let's try and move him up a little bit. 7.5 kilometers to go, and I'm starting to get stressed because the break still has 1 minute and 50 seconds, and they're all on 35 seconds in GC, so we actually have to catch them as soon as possible. Imagine if I lose GC to the bloody breakaway here. That would be awful. Come on, Barry. Keep going. Nah, looks like we got this. We're gradually closing them down. It's now 1 minute, and they're looking at each other. They are literally looking at each other. So Del Grosso can take over on 93. It's almost down to Piffy then, so I might actually have to use Bauer for Piffy or the other way around to actually survive the stage, but let's see how this goes. Let's not go too extreme. 89 for now. Gap is 15 seconds, so we got this. Come on, Del Grosso. Keep going. Energy shells on the rest. Come on. We got this. Piffy can go right now on 87, 88, something like that. Del Grosso can try and protect him. We've got the others on the left side of the road. Hater, Hulgaard, and so forth. Last kilometer, let's try and move up a little bit. Let's try and move up a little bit with Piffy. I don't want to go too extreme either. I just want to be able to sprint in the last 500 meters, something like that. Let's keep going, keep going, keep going. Last bit, Piffy goes. Come on. Bajoli versus Piffy, I think we're gonna get beaten. I think Bajoli wins on Wollonga Hill, but a second place is enough to win the Sanders to Down Under. Not another victory. 4 victories is enough though. It does look like Bauer is parquetjoing on the climb, and I think there's gonna be a gap there, so I think Bauer loses GC. But hey, it's to a teammate, so I don't care. In hindsight, I probably could have won the stage if I used Bauer for Piffy, but at the end of the day, I think it's worth to give Bauer that chance, you know? And in the end, he failed to do it, so Lawrence Piffy is the victor of the Tour Down Under. We win this race 2 years in a row with a different rider, of course, a new rider in the team. What a great debut from Piffy. Meanwhile, Lewis Bauer takes home the points classification, no actual surprise. I think we can only be happy with that, getting 4 stage wins, 3 with Bauer, a full hat-trick, and Piffy taking a stage and the GC. That's a splendid start to the season. Anyway, our 2028 season with REMBE.net is off to a fantastic start, but I'm afraid that's it for this video. As always, thank you for watching, thanks to REMBE for sponsoring this series, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.